I open the September 18th, 2024 select board meeting, 6:04 p.m. Do we have any adjustments to the agenda? Hearing none, I will take a motion to approve the minutes of September 4th.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Do we have any additions, corrections, deletions from these minutes? Hearing none, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? So carried. Comments from the community? See any communities? So we'll move on to correspondence. I'll pass along the Moyle County Sheriff's report for August. You just share it through the meeting. We received something from Black Dirt Farm just saying that we've diverted 19,656 pounds of food scraps from our landfill. That's a lot. Mitigated greenhouse gases equivalent to now burning 874 gallons of gasoline, and captured enough nitrogen to fertilize 1.47 acres of mixed vegetable crops. We're doing our part. Someone brought Tony Smith's obituary.
So they're having a celebration of life for him at Charlemont, for those people who knew him, on the Friday, October 18th, I think it is.
Yep.
Okay.
3 to 6.
Yep. I'm going to put it on the bulletin board out here, but I just wanted to, we've lost a very nice member of our community.
And we received notice from the Vermont Department of Taxes that we have been reimbursed for the education taxes we abated on 2 people who requested them for buyouts, Elizabeth Stark and Cole Pearson. And this is just the education portion.
Because it was in last fiscal year that we abated it. It's extra money in this fiscal year. And the taxes have already been abated, so it's not like it'll go against any taxes this year. So it's just goes in the general fund unless you allocate it for something.
$1,399.21. Okay, moving on to the Trust for Public. You know, the forest closing was on September 5th. And part of that, we received a word from the Trust for Public Land that they're pleased to grant $25,000 to the town of Wolcott, and is passing through a donation of $12,500 from the Bourne Family Association. The grant is made to the town to fulfill our commitment of a stewardship endowment for management of and improvements to the Wolcott Community Forest. These funds are to be placed in the Community Forest Stewardship Reserve Fund to be used by the town of Wolcott to achieve the long-range stewardship goal for purpose of the conservation easement on Wolcott Community Forest property. Since these funds came from private donors through gifts restricted to the Wolcott Community Forest Project, they should not be used for any other town-owned land or conservation purpose not associated with the Wolcott Community Forest.
So I have talked to Gordon. 30,000 is going to go into a 6-month special CD, a Community National Bank, and it will be at 4.6%. And they want to leave out 7,500 to have in a money market if they so start earlier than next spring.
And we'd appreciate it if the town could recognize the Vermont Housing and Conservation Board, the Northern Rivers Land Trust, the United States Forest and Open Space Conservation Program, and the Trust for Public Land appropriately on any signage placed on the new community forest, any future trail map guide to the community forest or donor recognition plaque. Road policy, possible repeal of the 2002 classification plan or instance of 2016 policy. And we'll let Cheryl talk about that.
I sent out the email as an attachment, the 2016, the May 4th, 2016 class 4 and trail highway and trail policy. And on the back of it, page 4, there's the Wolcott Road classification plan. And it's become apparent that to get FEMA money, we really have to have in our policy, our class 4 policy, that it is the responsibility of the town to maintain culverts and bridges on class 4 roads. And so we thought that, Linda and I thought that it should be then, this policy should be amended to reflect that. And even though it was in the classification plan, she got wanted to be in the policy, so it's clear. And in doing so, I typed up the new, the amended policy, and I did include under bullet point 3, number 3, maintenance. I put number 3, number 4. It is the responsibility of the town to maintain culverts and bridges on class 4 roads. I did not include, because I wanted to talk to the board, I did not include the rest of the Wolcott Road classification plan in the new policy, the revised policy, because I did want to get everyone's thoughts on the point number 1. I don't know if everyone has this in front of them. You all have it.
You have it that you can go on the screen.
Yeah, it's got my notes here.
Sorry.
So point number 1, it says any person who purchases land on a class 4 road must be aware that before the town would do year-round maintenance, it will be the responsibility of the landowner or landowners to bring the class 4 road up to class 3 specifications. Some roads may require extensive repairs, whereas other roads may be minimal. The Wolcott Road Foreman and the Wolcott Select Board will indicate what is required. However, I thought in my readings that it's still up to the Select Board to change the class 4 to a class 3 before we can actually then provide maintenance, regular maintenance on it. So I didn't include this because it seems to be sort of nebulous. I mean, it's just like vague territory. And then point number 3, the town will do final grading to roads that have been brought up to class 3 specs. Again, and then it says prior to reclassification, it doesn't make sense to me, but also culverts may be purchased through the town if the landowner wishes. Again, I didn't include it because it seems like you would still need to get class 3 reclassification of your road. So number 4, point number 4, we could possibly add any new roads created by developers would need to be warned at a proper town meeting and approved by the voters before the town will take over any maintenance. So that's the whims work to.
I think a lot of those things are all written in other ordinances that we have. You know, point 4 is written somewhere in the zoning documents. Point 3 is somewhere in the, you know, where you can buy a culvert at cost from the town, is somewhere in the driveway permits documentation. Point number 1, I don't know if it was accurate in 2002, but isn't accurate now. It's not the foreman and the select board, it's the highway standards that we adopted that dictate what has to happen to a road. before we can classify it as three.
Yeah, the state standards is actually a diagram that you give out to them.
Yeah, so I don't feel, I mean, you added 0.2 to it. Everything else feels redundant to me.
It sounds scary to me, all the other stuff, because it almost sounds like if you do this, we'll take the road over.
Right.
And I think it's like we're promising something which,
Might not come about. We are in a position to promise, because again, the select board would have to reclassify it, so.
Yeah, and even if a developer were to install a class 3 spec road, it doesn't obligate the town to take that over.
Right.
Right.
Okay.
so I did get a request, early this summer from someone on the residents of Brookview Lane. What would it take to? And I sent them all the state statutes and everything, and I haven't heard from them since. But
And you'd still
that's
want,
what you do.
you'd still want to take a vote on it.
Yeah, I think.
No, the town never voted on taking over a road.
Only select board.
There's a whole process and statute that you follow.
We have to hire a lawyer.
You have a lawyer, a hearing, you know. You have to determine whether it's to the best interest for the whole town.
We also kind of based the bridges and culverts on class 4 highways. It was an email sent by Carl Andier that Linda gave me, and it provided a little bit of guidance. I think Carl, it's from the Vermont Leagues of Cities and Towns. So we had some guidance, legal guidance as well. So I think then the next step is if you all have any additional changes you'd like me to incorporate. Otherwise, it's the same policy, just with that addition, the under 3.4 is the only change. If barring no changes, then I can post the proposal for the amendment to this to the library and the post office and town offices. Linda suggested I do that. And then the board can vote on it on October 2nd.
We'd like to point out one thing. The town doesn't, you don't buy the culvert through the town. You buy the culvert from Johnson Hardware, but you do it at town price.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. We are not involved in the transaction at all. But they do allow to have it at our price.
But again, that should, as far as I understand it, should only come up for new driveways, because any existing driveway, any culvert that exists now, we're on the hook for. According to our highway standards or whatever.
That's true.
So it would be a part of the driveway permit, and I think I would have to look and see, but on the permits that Tom has in his office, I think it says that you can buy it at the town rate.
Yes, it does.
Does it also state what size?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Is it 18 or 2 foot?
they're 15-inch minimums, 18-inch we're required by either standards or. Because regardless of what the standards say, the foreman can walk up and say, I want an 18 there, and that's what you do.
That's what we'll do. So I'll just get these posted. You have a question, sir?
I just want to point out with like the culverts. I currently live on Marsh Road, and I understand that it's the property owners that are responsible for the culvert, but when they refuse to, the town ends up paying a lot of money to fix the road because there was no culvert. So is it cheaper to put in a culvert or continue to fix the road?
If the culvert's in the town right away, it's on the town to replace. If
You
it's,
mean-
if it's outside of the right of way, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the hard part, because that's what I see, where there's a lot of right of ways or in the fields or whatnot that continue to be washed away, that the town is up there filling in the road. And is it cheaper to put in a culvert than to fix the road?
Maybe in one single instance, it might be, but once you open that door, now you're out on Matt Marble's logging road replacing culverts because it's.
I just want to make that point that sometimes it seems like they're fixing the roads over and over.
Are you aware of where you think a culvert should be, that if someone has made a landing into a field that they didn't get a permit? Is that what you're saying?
No, it's, historic.
Um,
It's been there since my grandfather owned the fields. I just want to make the point that sometimes making the point that having the landowner put in the culvert costs the town more money.
I think, I really think it's up to Dylan, the road foreman, to
Cause he has a
determine that,
He has to decide.
that's an issue, to bring it to the board if he's having a problem or replace it. What's up, Michelle?
Yes, I am.
Read this over, make sure you're ready to vote on it next. District managers report, Kurt?
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Great. So catching up with FEMA, as you may be able to tell, there's just a lot of activity going on right now. FEMA is feeling the pressure, wanting to get to the next event and close out 23 as soon as possible. We're hoping for Labor Day, and Labor Day's come and gone. But the majority of the projects are in the CRC stage, which is the stage at which the most questions come in. A lot of activity right now. Tell you the truth, I think I have more questions than I have items to report, if that's okay. I just wanted to get caught up on, because I'm not there, where we stand with some of the contractor projects, that being, is the Townhill culvert complete at this point?
Just waiting for the guardrails, which will come next week, but other than that, it's done, and I sent you the invoice today for what we've paid so far.
Right, okay, terrific. And Jones Road, there was some, when I said the CRC comes up with questions, Jones Road was one in which a document fell through the cracks somewhere, in which CRC was going to reduce our award by 100,000. I think we've resolved that. And that may open the door to paving mitigation, if that is still something of interest, to take a look at paving.
Yes, yes.
Okay, terrific. East Hill Road, a slide is, I know that there was work done on it that needed to be redone. Is that complete yet?
I believe it's redone. I think they're waiting for the guardrails and some paving.
Okay.
Paving wasn't included, was it? I don't believe paving was included in that per Kurt, right?
That's right, yeah. So I understand that Lucian was looking for paving on East Hill. And paving is not something that we put forward to FEMA. That's really a question, was that something that we missed?
Kind of.
Although it was damaged again this year, can we put forth paving for FEMA in parts of the road were damaged?
Now let's try.
Yeah, I mean, we can, we can do a mitigation. But as far as the FEMA engineer who did the site survey, there was no expectation of paving on East Hill. And the question is, would the board like to open up that possibility? Because I don't recall there ever being a paving need, at least in the first storm. No.
It's a small section.
Is that
But definitely the road and the paving slid down.
There's that section and then it drops down to small patches. I think Dylan had said that we wanted to patch it periodically down Still Road.
Wow, no, patching it down East Hill Road isn't part of the damaged thing.
No, that's 24, the patch.
Oh.
What was he planning on using his paving budget for this year?
I think he already did for the North Wolcott Road.
No, that was much.
Well,
We're in a whole different year.
I guess that's a discussion we'll have to have. I don't want to open it back up.
Okay.
It takes too long.
Yeah.
The constant time.
So the School Street culvert, we did get a pretty substantial mitigation award for the School Street culvert. And I noticed, Linda, that it doesn't look like Joey has enough time to do bids on that. I just want to make sure that the culvert gets in before it starts snowing.
So yes, I talked to Michelle this evening about it and gave her the file and she's gonna try to do up an RFP for it. We'll work together on it to the best of our abilities. Maybe Lucian can help, maybe Michael can help. Make sure that you put paving in there, and I don't know if there were any guardrails need to go in it. It's not just that one thing. I don't know. I don't have it in front of me.
Yeah, the project includes repaving. It includes 3 guardrails. There's also wing walls that are going to be put in. So it's a pretty substantial project.
And engineering.
And engineering, right. Yep. Yep. Okay, and then debris removal turned out to be probably our most difficult of all projects. Believe it or not, because there was some concern that what was being picked up from residents was white goods as opposed to household debris. That has finally been resolved, and that award is on the right path. So, all in all, what's happening right now is that Parker is trying diligently. You can really feel the pressure from FEMA management right now to close out the 4720 disaster. And so there's kind of a lot of questions flying back and forth, but we're moving forward on a daily basis.
So Flatiron Road, they have done some drilling and blasting. They're getting ready to move the road.
Right, so we put in for blasting on that. The bid, there were 2 bids, and one was with blasting, and that was the claim that we made. Is that
Right. They are not blasting in any land that's school property, because then that would trigger the Act 250 permit.
Oh,
So but we are blasting, just not maybe as much as we were originally.
okay. That has already moved forward past
Yeah.
here, so I'm thinking of leaving it alone. Yeah. All right. That's what I,
Town Hill's done. Town
Right.
Hill Road, Town Hill Slope is done.
right.
So I have a question, Kurt. Have they made any obligations other than for the Town Hill project?
No, no. Nope, not as of yet. And as you know that the federal funds are on freeze, we would be highly unlikely to see any movement until after the election.
So
And
even on the obligated one?
even on obligated ones, yes. Yes. So the federal funds are frozen. We did have one obligation that came through prior to the federal freeze, and that was the Town Hill culvert. And that is with the state right now. But it has been released from the feds. Anything else that gets obligated is just going to sit in a holding mode until Congress decides to release some funds. Hopefully not too many hurricanes come along in the meantime.
So it's sitting in Vermont Emergency Management. Can they release that money when we're finished?
With Town Hill culvert, yes.
Because that's the big one. That's 850,000.
Right, they're sitting on it. Yeah. So FEMA no longer has that money. That money is with the state and yet to be released to the town.
So as soon as they finish and bill us for the last, then we can requisition it, or are they just gonna give it to us?
No, there's
Oh,
gonna
no. Yeah, no, there's other steps we have to do.
be, yeah, you gotta. There's another round there, yeah.
It's a form you have to fill out, something, or it has to be certified by Michelle Redmond. Great, thanks, Kurt.
Yep, thank you.
Yeah, we're rounding this up.
Just so you know, we received from the blasting, we got the COI, and I don't know if we need a copy of that from the blasting company for Flatiron. Do you need that for FEMA?
Is it, oh, I'm sorry, is it a COI, did you say?
Yes, it's from the subcontractor, the blasting company.
Yes. Yeah, if you could send that, absolutely, that would be, I just anticipated it is gonna come up, I'm sure. Thank you.
Sure.
Michelle, you're up.
Sure. So I'm still trying to give away that opioid settlement money. Tried to give it to Hardwick Rescue, and they just felt that they get Narcan free from the state, as I think everybody else does. And so they suggested that I contact the North Central, or what is it, the Lamoille County
Northern Recovery Center.
Northern Recovery Center. So I just heard from them today, so I'll be contacting them. I've been following the opioid settlement information that comes out, and we don't really, if we haven't used the money yet, we don't have to file anything. And if the money is used for opioid abatement, then we don't have to fill out a form at all. So if you don't use it for that, you have to fill out this form. You have to use it for opioid abatement, so I don't understand the process, but anyway. I'm sad to announce that Dean Mercier has tendered his resignation for personal reasons. He said he'll stay on until we can find somebody within a reasonable amount of time. I did draft a job description for the animal control officer, and I'll be posting that if I have your permission to post it on the same pay rate. Although he did not have mileage in his budget, and I would like to include mileage.
Well, he did have mileage for years, but the only way you can get mileage is if you document the miles you travel, and he didn't want to do that. We have a mileage policy. You can't just ask for $1,000.
Oh, no, definitely.
Right, so a couple people, it wasn't worth the aggravation to document their mileage. And so they forgo it for when, but is, so did we take it out of the?
You did.
Yes, it's remote. It's not.
We didn't think we'd lose him.
Well. You say beginning July 1st, July 1st? I don't know, because now we're paying that extra 5,000 quarterly to use the kennels, which wasn't budgeted.
I have not received a bill from them.
That's ideal.
And just, we'll figure it out. I won't include mileage in the job
I
description.
just don't know where it would come from. I'd be happy to reinstate it when,
Sure.
next year. Unless you can think of any place.
I'm bare bones.
Yeah, I think we're bare boned.
I really am.
As far as roads, we've worked on finalizing the FEMA data. I've been working on just pretty much getting almost all of the FEMA data collection, measurements and photos and everything. Done, the spreadsheets are done. I just have to go out and re-photograph a couple of sites because they, the GPS points weren't accurate. I'm gonna go out and re-photograph Gulf Road, Corley, and Turcotte because they've been finished. More or less. I think Gulf Road seems to be, might need something. I have to go out with Dylan to make sure that those are, going out tomorrow with Dylan to make sure that those are up to standards. And then I'll get those final photographs in there, and then we'll pull in some of the photographs that we've been receiving from the like just right after the emergency. And I'll associate those with the project, and then we'll be ready to meet with FEMA. FEMA is still assigning us our project manager. I emailed them today, and they said I was under the assumption that we had 60 days from the declaration to start this process, and Kim Cantarelli assured me that no, we've done what we needed to do. Now we just sit and wait, basically. The grant and aid projects for Elmer Pond Road and Keeler Road are nearly done. I think Allen was finishing up Keeler Road like today, pretty much, and then Dylan was finishing Elmer Pond Road this week, and I know Dylan is sought out Alec Jones's phone number, so he's getting in contact with Alex so that we can put in for the completion of those two grants, and then get paid for those. I know that Dylan also needs to meet with Alec because we received $12,000 for the next year's grant and aid, and it's been unassigned, so we have some ideas about how to assign that. I advertise the RFPs for Hines Road, West Hill Road, and East Elmore Road. No, I haven't received anything yet, so hoping that we get some bids on those. They have until October 2nd, I think, to get those bids in. I met with Joey and Dylan, or the road crew, and two property, actually 4 property owners showed up at East Hill Road and Apixia Way regarding possible resolution of drainage issues. And then I typed the results of the meeting up and send it out in email so that we have a record of what's being stated, and then place that information, the work that needs to be done on a sheet or a to-do sheet for the road crew. As far as the contract that we reviewed, the contractor's contract, Michael had questions at the last select board meeting. He felt that requiring a warranty bond from contractors to guarantee the work would be difficult for smaller contractors. So I spoke with Larry Smith at Vermont Leagues of Cities and Towns, and he recommended that for larger projects over $75,000, that we keep that article in, and I can read that in a moment, into the contract, but we remove the article from general work contracts that are under $75,000. On the articles, Article 13, it states warranty and bond. The contractor warrants all work performed under this contract for a period of 1 year from the date of work is completed and accepted by municipality. The warranty must be secured either by the contractor's performance bond or such other security as is acceptable to the municipality. And so, again, per Larry, we removed it from the general contract, kept it in the major work contract is what I'm calling it. I today attended the Vermont Leagues of Cities and Towns budget training meeting. It was eye-opening. I learned a lot, so hopefully I can remember it. I drafted the class 4 road and maintenance. We've covered that. And then for the next select board meeting, I'd like to just set up the scope of what I'd like to talk about, which is dropping the Gulf Road speed limit to 25 miles per hour along the entirety of the road. Linda sent along the traffic studies that have been done. And I can present a brief summary of those traffic studies, but it makes sense to me because the road is already posted at 25 miles per hour as you enter the S curves from 15. You enter the S curves, and that section up past the dump is pretty much posted at 25 miles per hour underneath the S curve sign. I just thought that given the traffic studies, which said the study started 300 feet north of Route 15 on Gulf Road. They sampled 2,704 vehicles. Average daily traffic was 392 vehicles. The mean speed in that portion of that segment of the road is 25 miles per hour. The speed limit is 35, but it's not because speed limit is actually 25 around those curves. The 80th percentile is 32 miles per hour. And then the portion after the dump is posted, I believe it's posted 35 miles per hour. They have the mean speed in that section is 36 miles per hour with the 85th percentile of 43 miles per hour. So I know that road gets tricky, but I'd like you to think about maybe posting the entire road at 25 miles per hour, which the state allows us to do as long as we've had a traffic study done, which we did.
I'm just surprised I didn't realize that was posted at 25. Where's the posting headed the other way? If you leave
on both sides of the road, almost across the road from one another, you see the S curve and it says 25 miles per hour underneath that.
Yeah, the S curve is always within 25.
Up to the dump, or transfer station road.
From 15.
It's hard to drive much faster than that.
No, it is. I thought the entire road was 35. I didn't realize that it was posted there.
It's not until you get to Stoddard's
And where is the sign, if you're leaving the North Wolcott Road and you're coming this way, is there a sign? I guess is the posting legal, if signs legal?
This, I can show you one. I took the photograph this morning. And they're almost across the street.
Say not that it matters.
But I asked her, where would you look? I asked her to find out,
Yeah,
there
that's not
must be
really-
rules.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that actually isn't enforceable. That's an advisory sign, the white
Okay.
and black ones. So the road is 35.
Yeah,
But the S curves are advised at 25.
okay.
But where do you find the rules of how far apart signs should be?
The
And where-
MECD.
So in that book?
Mhm.
Oh, right.
METCD?
Municipal Uniform Traffic Control Devices.
And there's a whole book on the right
It's
side.
like 600 pages, and if you're bored,
We had one at one point.
I don't know where it went.
have garage.
Maybe. Well, they got flooded, so maybe not.
Didn't make the move.
They change every year.
Yeah.
They do.
Yes.
It's probably online though.
It is. I don't know if you can access the full text. I know that I've been able to find excerpts of different things, but
So would it be suggested we change that set of signs going from 15?
so yeah, the entire road now is as far as like a legally posting thing. If an officer were trying to write a ticket, 35 is the speed limit. It's advised at 25, but you could go up to 35 and they can't stop it. So the question still remains, do we post the whole road at 25? It really doesn't change anything. I was just surprised.
I wouldn't, because it's fairly straight.
Yeah,
Once you get past Cottards.
I think that's next meetings. You're putting it on our radar for next meeting?
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
In my understanding, and Kurt, you're online, because you were here when we did the study. Didn't they say that, when they did the study, they used the 85% percentile for what the speed should be?
That's correct, yes. That's correct.
so they're suggesting.
So
that's
they
reason.
base it on what drivers do, not what they should do.
Well, they're doing 32, the 85th percentile is 32 around that advised 25-mile-per-hour sign. And I don't know if the ditches are deeper now. I didn't take Gulf Road regularly prior to the flood, but those corners, those are dangerous, in my opinion. And if you're passing another vehicle or a larger truck.
Yeah, they've re-ditched it from the
Well,
transfer station down, and it's fair enough where you would.
And not just the ditching, but it used to be overgrown. And when Dylan and the guys went up and did all that mulching before they ditched it, they opened it up and now it looks bigger than it truly is.
Oh, good point.
You get a little bit more confident because you can see a little further around corners. Yeah, so between the ditching and the everything else, I wouldn't be surprised if people are traveling a little quicker.
The study was done in what, 2023, June, a year ago.
Hmm.
2023. So we can just have this discussion next week, but just kind of think about it, maybe take a drive out there. See what you think. That's all I have.
Thank you. Okay, we'll move on to select board review and action. Town clerk expenditures for 23-24 projects. I just felt like FEMA's pressing us to get these projects done. But they're not paying us back for them. We borrowed $1 million. Where do we stand? Because we have 2 years of flooding we're working on.
Right, and so it has been suggested, I did get the okay from the bank to use both, but tracking the interest is a nightmare if I put 2024 and 2023 floods together. Because we'll get reimbursed, but FEMA is very clear. I have to be able to save the interest down to a penny, and I really don't know if I'm qualified down to the penny, to be honest. So I will tell you what's going on with 2023 floods. We have spent, basically, last year, we spent, 219,326,000. This year, we've spent 622. So we are pretty much almost at the end of our, how do I put it? The loan, we have $405.09 left of that loan before we have used it all. And my understanding is I have $344,485,000 worth of projects out there that are going to have to be paid.
Plus we paid 92,000.
Yeah, we paid 92,000 out of our own coffers for, this year, 2024, let me put it that way. And I'm looking at another $80,000 worth of bills right here that we just got in, plus she just put out, some more, calling for more bids for the other projects. And these are the ones that gravel has, finished so far. And I don't have any other bills coded for 2024 flood yet, but Dylan's been out too, so I don't really know.
Have you tried shredding those bills? Do they come back?
So here's my opinion. We do have 270,000 sitting in a capital fund that can float us until it can't anymore, and hope that we get this FEMA fund for the 850,000 in on Town Hill. And we get tax money in November. I really don't want to go get another loan, but I don't know if it's, we won't make interest on our capital fund if we use it. But maybe it's better than not borrowing more. If I got down to $1, I'll let you know, but I don't think that'll happen. Number one. Number two, I have scheduled a tax sale. One of the things the law has changed, you can't do it from a year from the date of the last bill. So I can't, 2023-24, I can't even put up for tax sale until next May. But the ones from 2022 and 23 I have straggling along, I can do. It's probably about 25,000. So they're working on that one, and I'm hoping to have it in January.
Didn't they just lower the interest rates? I didn't see.
We haven't.
The Fed was supposed to today, but I don't know.
Like 50 basis
The
points.
headline, huh?
50.
I had just heard something like it. Do you know? No. Something.
I was reading it today and they haven't lowered it yet.
Yeah.
They projected.
Yes.
Projected up.
Either a quarter of a point or a half, but we don't know yet.
They dropped it a half.
They did half today.
It said something like, the lowest in
So
2020.
If we want to go for another loan for the 2024 and keep it clean, we could do it, but I would need a projection of how much.
So I think you need to keep us communication open, so we know where we stand and keep an eye on it. At the same time, we'll try to get that money, work hard to get that 850,000.
Right, because we do have to pay the $1 million back before the end of June, but we could strategize. What do I want to say? Maybe the 2024s will be paid faster than the 2023s are. I mean, FEMA's a crapshoot, let's be honest. You never know what you're going to get. I mean, in 2019, you waited a long time, but 2012, the money came rapidly. So maybe we were richer back then, I don't know. But here's the thing, I can keep everything in-house and we can keep going. I have enough in the loan and in the capital funds to pay everything I have right now.
And the project.
And the project sheet, I would have to come back, considering we're putting it out to bid and we need to know. I would like to know before even going to get a loan, what we're looking at.
Are they they're not big projects though.
No, I think, Dylan estimated them. Have it, but I think the biggest
10,000, 30,000.
I think the biggest one will be East Elmore because there's a lot of material involved and you've got to like attach it under the, you know, stream bank. It's a little large rock.
I mean, grants they're working on, grants and aid, if they get them done, we'll get that money in. So there'll be money back into the coffers for the general fund of highways and stuff.
But we haven't received the bills for those either.
I know. It's a waiting game.
Dylan was doing, Dylan did he did Elmore Pond himself. For the road crew did.
Yeah, because we had an in-kind with that one. I think it was 35. Let's see.
All right, just keep us posted.
And you know, November's right around the corner and money will be flowing in here. From all of you.
To pay bill, the money's to pay
Yes.
the select board budget.
And just make our appropriations wait. They have their hand out already. I'm already getting bills for them. They're not getting it until November.
Anyone else have any questions of Belinda? Your generator.
Trevor, just, I think somewhere that should be a note. Can we put that in the minutes?
How much was it to replace it?
It was, so when the guy came out to make the repair that we had all wanted to have done on the, you know, just that switch, on off switch, he's like, he said, you know, the motor's running, but it's not connecting. And that was the extent that I got. And so he said, you're really going to have to put in a new motor or get a new one. So the repair for a new motor is $2,904.39. Keep in mind the generator is 13 years old. They tell us that generators typically last 15 years. So then we asked Brookfield to send us estimates on a new generator. The generator that we have now is a Generac. They don't sell those, Brookfield does not sell this, but they sent us Kohler pricing. And I know personally, I did a lot of research when my husband and I bought a generator, and Kohler and Generac are comparable from what I've seen. And so the new generator purchase is $10,065, and then depending on the add-ons that we want, I thought that we definitely want the surge protection installed with the transfer switch, which is another $195. The removal and disposal of the old generator, which is $100, because I think to get town crew to do that would be a wash anyway. And then definitely the angle iron snow stand. I thought that seemed important for $385. And then I'm not sure which maintenance plan that you would like. That's either $456 or $756. And then finally, do you want the extended warranty for $975? So it's roughly with add-ons between $12,500 and $13,000 for a new.
So let me see if I understand. They came out, they quoted us 1,800 or something to do a repair, and the generator is currently still not functioning.
Correct. No, it's not. He said that the motor's included. That's what he said. So
did we go through with the $1,800 fix?
No.
Okay.
He couldn't fix it. He said, you know, it's just now the motor was blowing. And I asked if it had anything to do with the switch, and he said definitely not, because the motor's still running. It's not connecting or something.
Yeah.
It's something inside the motor, and apparently it goes on these models or whatever. I did a little research myself. But My other thing is, Linda, I understand we're gonna have to move that generator anyhow if we proceed with the old schoolhouse. So if we fix it, it's still gonna be there, and then we're gonna have to have somebody come and move it.
Same thing if we go to replace it. $13,000 that we're talking about isn't gonna be digging up the lines, putting the generator.
No,
replace
but
it.
we could have them put it somewhere else.
Not for 13 grand.
No, but right now, while we have a new one put in. I'm wondering what is more cost effective.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
I would say let the committee, the land trust who's gonna do all of the parking improvements deal with moving our generator out of their way. Is my feeling. Again, I'm only 1/5 of an opinion.
Well, I agree too. I mean, it could be a while.
Yeah.
And
We'll
who
go to
knows?
that spot later anyway.
And do we, you know,
Right,
I think that plan needs to be tweaked anyway.
Is there any? I only know anecdotally from a friend of mine that I just did some work for who was able to purchase a generator for about like 60% of the cost of Brookfield service through the farmyard store in Newport. Is there any way that we could get them to give us an estimate as well?
Farmyard store,
Farmyard store.
and they install as well?
Yes, they were in and out in 5 hours for 60% of the cost of both.
same BTUs, everything,
Same
same.
thing. They installed at his house, they installed the Generac. So
Now, does Brookfield maintain it then, or do they do the maintenance?
I don't know if they have a maintenance plan, and I don't know if Brookfield would maintain something they didn't install. I would assume that they would, but I don't know that.
I have to be honest, I'd like to get our $15,000 back for that generator that's supposed to go up to the school that hasn't even happened yet. And I've heard no plans of it going in.
Really?
Really?
Yeah, it was supposed to be by the bus barn, and it's not there.
There's nothing.
I will send Joe Houston an email tomorrow.
And ask them where it's at.
So I guess we're gonna wait until the next meeting for more information on the generator. Can we talk a little bit about money?
Yeah.
How we're gonna pay for it?
Yeah, no, I think that's important.
Just while we, you know, we haven't decided how much it is right now. Just, thinking about money.
We do have a few pockets of money.
So yes, we do. Well, we received that $6,312 from the Hardwick Area Community Coalition.
They closed. We used to belong to it and they used to do promote things for Wolcott and Hardwick and everything.
So that can be used with no strings attached. Then we have that local impact grant that the legislature designated for towns, and I have in writing that Wolcott's gonna get 20,000. You haven't got it yet. We cannot use it for FEMA related projects. General fund dollars allocated by the legislature are for local economic impact payments.
Do we have to tell them first what we're gonna use it for before they'll give it to us?
No, it just said, it would come later in the year. I did email them today. Vermont Emergency Management, that's where the money's coming, funneling through, and they're gonna check on it for information, just to know that we have a little bit of money out there.
If you were to relocate that generator, where would you put it? Would you put it here or at the other end of the building?
We don't know.
Yeah, until the site plan is finalized and there's an actual real plan. How, I mean, I wouldn't even dare venture a guess.
I mean, if they're gonna do construction and that over that in, it'd be best not to have it anywhere over there.
The only thing I don't recommend is out front. Where a lot of the, well, I don't know where the new sewer lines go, but where the old sewer lines.
Where's the snow fall off the roof too?
Yeah, I think we just need to wait. We don't have a plan.
Sorry, Linda, was that wait on the entire project or just get the quote in and then discuss?
No, wait on thinking of moving. We're gonna, that's all. I don't think we're prepared and we haven't thought about it.
And it apparently isn't gonna rain for a while, so I think we're okay.
That's what we should put it, should put it on the roof.
Oh, wait a minute.
That's pretty heavy.
Come sliding down, I don't want to be here.
Build a cupola.
Well, and wait, I said at last week's meeting, or last month's meeting, whatever, the last meeting, that we didn't qualify for the energy grant or whatever, that they changed some things and now we do, so we may be investigating that battery backup thing, which
Be nice.
That grant is a moving target. I mean. In, out, in, out.
I said it was the 30th, it's actually the 27th.
so, yeah, I saw that. Yeah, so the last thing, I actually just sent you an email. We have the option to apply for financial hardship funding, which allows them to pay us up front for the project as opposed to reimburse us.
Okay.
I wanted to speak with the treasurer to see if we should do that.
Yeah, I would use, we've just gone through our generators broken, our.
Yeah.
We paid hardship.
He doesn't want to give us any money for 2 years.
Yeah.
And again, we can't wait that long.
Okay, begin outreach for conserving East Hill property and at town meeting vote. I just thought that it would be a good idea if we started talking and reaching out to our residents so they knew what was going on at town meeting about wanting to conserve our East Hill property. I talked to Michelle about maybe having some information on the website about that. Any other ideas of what we should do, you know, so that it just doesn't hit them in the face come March? I
Are you
think
going to have any public hearings about it before it snowed? So if people wanted to go and see the property again, but haven't come forward yet? Because you've already did one walk, correct?
well, I walked with Jim Ryan and Kate Garvey from the Northern Rivers Land Trust. We walked it. But I'd never been there before.
It's a lot better since they cleaned it up.
Yeah. I mean, we could schedule a thing on Front Porch Forum like the forest. I could put an ad on it, kind of explaining, and we could set a date that we would be there for people to go up and see the property, have a better understanding. I mean, they can see that it's not buildable.
I think if you would wait until the end of October,
Uh-huh,
a lot of the leaves would be down and then you could see what's there.
okay.
Yeah, you could ask them to rake up the leaves while they're there.
No,
For you, it's all swampy.
no, breaking up the leaves would be,
So would you be willing to be a participant in that, Kurt? All right. Any other ideas on how we can get the word out to our town? So October,
Definitely in the town report, maybe a whole section about it. information, because if you're gonna put it on the warning, you should also have some corresponding information.
Good ideas. We'll get working on it. So people know what's coming at them.
Because there is enough area down in there for at least 8 to 10 vehicles to park. I'm trying, that is.
It's not such a busy road that you can't, I parked on the road.
Yeah, I parked
It's not,
off to the side, but still. You get to the edge, it's a little steep.
right.
So would you, allow hunting and all that and everything as part of this? If the public will use it and then, you know what I mean?
I don't think a conservation easement prohibits hunting.
I didn't know, because if
A
that's
conservation easement prevents this development.
right. But people would be visiting and stuff and everything, what I mean is.
There's so many migratory birds up in that area.
There's probably even loons at this point. They're everywhere.
There's not,
It's
not
not
big enough
anywhere.
water.
It's swampy. It's like,
It's good for ducks, geese.
Where's the area? Because I manage for the state East Hill Wildlife Management Area.
there's
It's
a
right
map.
next to the bear
You wanna
swamp.
get, let's see. Here's the map. It's, do you know where Jim Ryan's is on East Hill?
That's the old Cove Road Farm.
No.
It's where we put that bridge in, those culverts. On East Hill.
So East Hill. Coming from Town Hill. And you come down past David Budville's and around the corner. Is the farm, and then there's a bridge and there's a water body that flows into Bear Swamp. It's right there. Where that bridge and culvert is.
Aren't you guys over more towards Whipple's? The East Hill Management?
No,
Now we're on the Marsh Road,
yeah,
Oh, okay.
it's
which
deep.
actually encompasses the Wolcott Pond.
Oh, okay, all right.
It's
Yeah,
the one
this
Jan, yeah, down by Jan.
There's what, 720 some odd acres?
960.
I think 60. But I think, is it the East Hill? Management is, I thought it was only 700. And something.
Well, A&R has two different properties up
There's
there.
one by Bill Morrison's,
Yeah.
and then there's the one by Wolcott Pond.
Well, there's the actual land they own, and then there's the deeded hunting right.
Oh, yeah, the easement, yes.
Have they considered, with these are two separate properties, have they considered, studying sort of corridor connections or
Well,
management?
if you end up deeding it to the state, you lose all rights to it.
No, not management, but actually ecological management. So you manage them.
The waterways?
Yeah.
Well, it'd be the deer, the timber, that's what she's driving at. So if you got them both at the same baseline.
So if you have a population in this is it similar management styles so that we manage these populations so that they have corridor movement and population management. It's just working in coordination with the state.
So Noel Dodge is the manager for the East Hill Wildlife Management Area, so he'd be the one to contact. Noel Dodge at Vermont.gov.
He's the manager for it's called the East Hill property or the.
East Hill Wildlife Management Area.
So remember they're going to have to, some of the landowners said they'd be willing to try to raise the $6,500 for the stewardship fee for conservation, which I don't think is a lot of money. Okay, let's move on to the wastewater vote and next steps. Basically, I want to let the select board know the committee is continuing to meet, that they're working on an ordinance. And also they through in state statute, the select board can set up a sewer commission. So either this is going to be regulated or can by the select board or a sewer commission. So they'll be bringing that to you. Usually as sewer commission, I mean like Hardwick Electric, they have their electric commission. It's built up with users of the system usually are on it and a couple of select board members, but I don't really think it's something the select board can take on by themselves, so consider it and they'll be bringing that forward to us to review. Timeline for the schoolhouse grant. So you have on your table that we received, the grant that I told you a week ago. They have a very aggressive timeline. I think the the schoolhouse committee as it stands now is going to dissolve. That's a town appointed committee. It's going to dissolve and they are going to actively be working towards creating this community trust so that
So do they need a lawyer to be on the board with them or to be involved with this?
not necessarily. Okay. So the first thing is you've got to have a board of directors, you need bylaws, certain policies that you're required. We need to get federal exemption status.
So for a nonprofit.
Part of this is this money that they're giving us is technical assistance to help us. They're giving us free technical assistance, the Preservation Trust, Vermont Council on Rural Development, and Vermont Community Foundation. And they're giving us $75,000 for like a project manager, and that's not a project manager to fix the building. It's a project manager to get us through the process so we can have this in place and then come before the board to be able to lease the building. They're going to help us with reaching out for grants, donors. And so they're with us, helping us through the process the whole way. But it seems to be very, it looks like by the fall of 25, they want us to start applying for restoration grants and so forth.
So this grant is coming to the town, but it's being used specifically to set up this trust to oversee. And then do we have to report back about the 75? When
No, they're going to be working with us.
okay.
They are going to be working with us. They'll be, instead of Alberto from planning, he's done. They will be seeing us through this project.
So we won't receive any money.
I don't know what we'll
It'll go
receive.
through them.
All this managers trying to get the grants and donations.
I just wondered for grant tracking what I had to do. So if it's all
He said a
them-
$75,000 award to support pre-development expenses. And a $225,000 award to support construction.
did the town have to sign anything for them?
Yeah, it'll come shortly and we'll have to do a W-9. The last thing is, we did not get the Northern Borders grant for the wastewater, the 750,000, but we did get from Northern Borders the Catalyst grant, which is just a little offshoot of the main grant for $750,000. So we
still got the same amount, but it's a
it's
different.
for the same organization, but it's more geared towards economics.
And is that,
So we can use that if the wastewater project goes over the ARPA deadline. We can use it at the end
okay.
to fill in. We were just as confused because we got a letter saying we didn't get it, then we got a letter saying we didn't get it.
So it didn't end up from one pot but the other.
But is it the same, still the same, the requirements? It's to be used at the end.
Yeah.
We have to use the ARPA funds first.
I think they're advanced from what?
Okay. Well, some of them have different requirements.
Okay, guess we're ready to make a motion to go into executive session.
Molly and I will leave you. Didn't even know she was here.
So you have to scoop her off the floor, I think.
You coming?
Would you like to be invited, Michelle, to be in executive session?
Do I need to take notes?
No, you take no notes. So you need to say, who motioned to go into executive session and what time?
I missed that.
I don't think they did.
No. We have a second.
I'll second.
So we're gonna enter executive session at 7:20.